This is your host, Dan Stafford, with the Midwestern Geek in Cali YouTube channel, YouTubing from 42 TARDIS Way here in lovely Temecula, California, summer's winter home. And boy, am I glad I've been here this past week. Wow. Okay, so this is going to be episode 89, and I'm going to get off the infinity screen here in just a second and give you the title. This is Moon Rockets on the Big Screen and Burning Frozen Train Tracks. And I've got a lot more ground than that to cover this evening, so I want to get to it fairly quickly here. Let's jump over to Chrome and take a look at what all I've got going on here. So I'm going to start off. You've got some of the show notes here. I'm getting ready to post the episode as soon as we're done. And I'm going to drop over to the website. Again, you can find us at MidwesternGeekInCali.com. That'll drop you into the Blogspot site, www.MidwesternGeekInCali.com. Also on Twitter, at MidwestGeekCali. Also on Facebook, Midwestern Geek in Cali discussion group. If you're feeling so inclined, please donate. That helps me make the channel better and keep getting more equipment and better stories and more time to put into it. Obviously, a list of certifications here, and I think we'll stop it there. We're going to move off the website, and let's go into the first story real quick. Apollo 11. Okay, so this is really cool. This is a movie. This is the 50th anniversary this summer in July of Apollo 11, the first landing on the moon. And there's a wonderful article over here on Gizmodo. Stunning trailer for Apollo 11 brings us never before seen footage of the moon mission. Okay, so they found basically a bunch of 70mm film that was never really used and never seen by the public for the Apollo 11 moon mission. Apparently, MGM was going to do a big film about it. They brought in the cameras that were used to do like the big Oscar-winning films in that era. So this is really cinematic footage, and it's been sitting in a tin can somewhere at NASA ever since, because MGM backed out of the project, but the filming got done. So this is a documentary, and it's going to be using the film that was found and was being sat on by an archivist who didn't even really know what he had. I'm not sure exactly how this find came about, but it's an interesting story. Take a look at the article on Gizmodo. I'll give you the link in the show notes. And look for this to come out sometime this summer. Best guess at this point is going to be in July, because July is the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 mission and the moon landing. I remember watching this as a kid. I was in summer school that year. Too busy reading and not enough what I wanted to read and not doing homework. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to that. The theater poster looks gorgeous, and so does the trailer. Stop by and check it out. I'm going to leave that one go, and let's get on to the next story while I wet my whistle here. Samsung is making 1 terabyte storage chips for phones. So smartphones with a terabyte of storage on a chip, let alone whatever they have on board. And they're talking about putting this in the Galaxy S10. They're looking to have a seriously powerful Snapdragon and about 6 gig of RAM. You're talking this phone is going to be on a par with a current day PC now with power and capability. It's getting there. And 5G on top of it with the S10 is expected. I'm kind of holding my little pennies aside and hoping to get the S10. I'm running a Galaxy S7 right now, and I have been for a couple of years. I'm holding off for the S10 to come out. I didn't want to get a new phone until 5G was available on the phone. So this sounds to be a seriously badass phone. There's several other articles out there. It's like getting all around the news. But a terabyte micro SD chip. I'm not sure if it's exact. It might be a new format, but form factor similar to micro SD. But serious storage for the phone. Okay, next up, we've got an article here, how to protect humans in a fully automated society, what happens when every job is replaced by a machine. And my bad, I did not get to skim this article. I was too busy transferring all my data over from a 64 gig micro SD chip to 128 gigabyte micro SD. I need some room to be able to shoot more footage when Charles and I go out to our next event. Hopefully that'll be soon. So I was making room for some better stuff coming out later on. This looks like a very interesting article. I'm always interested in AI and the impact on the economy and on human beings, and I'm going to be back reading it myself in a little bit. Original title I saw is Software is Eating the World, and it's only the beginning. Looks like they have some video here, and this is an article that I'm going to leave around because I'm going to want to read it a little bit later. Next up, the latest Windows 10 build puts desktop apps in a 3D world, and it looks like they're going to actually allow, with the newest Windows 10 update, when it actually hits your machine, they're going to allow those of you using VR headsets and the like to use actual desktop apps rather than just Microsoft Store apps. So that sounds pretty cool. And then we're getting into the next story, which actually I have a little bit of experience with this because I'm a Wisconsin native and I worked for nearly 20 years in downtown Chicago. I experienced the polar vortex hitting Chicago in 2014. It wasn't quite as bad as this time around, but they were actually lighting fires on the train tracks to keep the trains running. Now, this is an old school practice when it gets really cold. And what they're doing here is they're lighting fires right where the track switches are so the track switches don't freeze. They're keeping the track switches warm so that the track switches don't freeze in position, because if the track switches can't move, the trains can't roll. They wouldn't be able to stay on the correct tracks. So it's been really bad in Chicago, and I hit a vortex myself in 2014 when I was working downtown on third shift, so I got the worst of it in the middle of the night, walking around between data centers down there. And all my family and friends back in the Great Lakes region, Midwest, you know, I'm thinking of you guys, and it looks like the weather's climbing back up into the 50s pretty quick here, so thankful for that. And I won't talk about the weather here other than my show intro line, tagline. We'll leave that be. Now I'm going to keep this really short tonight, so I don't want to go too much further than that. But I do want to quote an NPR article I read. It explained why this polar vortex stuff comes down so far south to the point where you had snow in Georgia. A lot of people like to, you know, use it to point the finger and laugh at global warming, as they say it, which really should be called climate change, because global warming is kind of misleading. They're talking about an overall warming of average temperatures all over the globe, but this particular effect, this is a result of a large, strong, unseasonably warm air mass up near the pole pushing the polar vortex south. So it is climate change related in the fact that we are having very large warm air masses hit the Arctic and move the vortex to the south temporarily. So that is, you know, when you put more energy in the system, you get higher highs and lower lows. You get more extreme swings. And this is the kind of stuff we're seeing. So you're going to get super cold, you're going to get super big storms, you're going to get huge storm surges, you're going to get really hot stuff in the summer, mega fires, all the stuff we've been seeing in the news for a while. But anyway, not to get on my soapbox anymore, but interesting story, and it makes for great pictures. Let's move on. It's going to cost $45 billion, but Germany proposes to eliminate coal in 19 years. So they're talking about going totally renewable energy. They're even going to be reducing their nuclear power plants over a longer period. So it's going to be pretty much wind, sun, and other hydro. So big jump here by Germany. They really have gotten serious about it. I'd be interested to watch the energy storage tech that they developed to do this. And that's going to be my last story for the night. As always, you will have all the links over on the episode on the blog. So www.midwesterngeekandcali.com. Stop by, check it out. And I'm going to call that a wrap because I need to keep it really short tonight. Everyone out there, stay warm. If you're down south, stay warm anyway. And happy Vulcan fingers to you from the Agent of 42. And may there never be a rogue wave in your coffee mug. Thank you for stopping by and checking us out and giving us a watch and a listen. Take care.